Yeah, after being gone for weeks and weeks.
Months, dude.
All right, sorry, months. We're now back with our third podcast in the space of 4 weeks. So we hope that you're not sick of us yet.
Well, we're just glad to be back in the groove, if I'm honest.
Well, like Stella.
Bit like that.
Oh, that's the most ethnic thing I've ever said.
We're going to get letters.
Kidding. I'm blacker than you, dude. Come on.
We're still going to get letters.
Right, anyway, let's move on. Let's move on and talk about the fact that we've got a guest coming up on the show today who is one half of my favourite tag team.
Acts of Demolition's on the show?
Okay, she's one half of one of my favourite tag teams then.
Okay.
One half of the Kimber Bombs is going to be on the show. We're going to have Bombs herself, Cherry Bomb.
I'm looking forward to this one. I mean, it's funny. We were looking back to see the last time we spoke to Cherry Bomb. Mm-hmm. And I thought it was longer ago than it was.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it's like so much has happened in her career since when we spoke to her in February 2012 that you kind of think we're only talking about like what, a 2 and a bit year span of time?
Yeah, it feels like much longer somehow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you say, it's because lots of stuff's happened, and we'll talk about that sort of stuff when we get to the interview segment later on in the show. But before we get there, we haven't really done it for the last couple of shows, but let's shoot the shit for a little bit. We got some stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I think the most pressing thing, I suppose, is the Shine show that's coming up tomorrow.
Yes, we say tomorrow. We're recording this on the 26th of June, and Shine is tomorrow on the 27th of June. So if I can get my shit together and have this podcast uploaded in time, it is still tomorrow for most of you. And you can get it on wwnlive.com. You can go buy the live streaming version or the video on demand as well.
I said it when the match was announced. I still stick by it. I still believe that Ivelisse Velez versus Serena Deeb for the Shine Championship is going to be the best match in Shine history.
Yes. I don't want to gush too much about this because I need to save some of my gushing for the Kimber Bombs later.
Of course you do.
But believe me, Serena Deeb and Ivelisse are two people that I don't know if there's two more watchable wrestlers around than those two. I mean, Ivelisse just month after month after month in Shine was just being awesome almost every show, just stealing the show. And now she's the champion, which means she's in the position where she's expected to have those main event matches and expected to have those fantastic matches. And
she's having them.
Well, I can't think of a better option for her to have a match with, or a better opponent for her than Serena Deeb, who has quietly been going around just proving to everybody that she's probably the best wrestler in the world at the minute, of a female perspective.
Pretty much, and she's had a storming start to 2014.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't work lots of places, Serena, but where she works, she's damn good at them. And Shine's one of those places where she does work, and I don't know the last time I watched a show that there was a Serena match on where that wasn't my favourite match of the show.
Yeah, so this is guaranteed to be the best match in Shine history.
I mean, you say that, but you know.
No, I'm saying it. I can't not believe it. I can't think. Oh, there's an outside chat.
I don't want to oversell it, though, dude.
Going to line.
I don't want to oversell it, but believe me when I say the $9.99 that it will cost you to buy the live version of this Shine show is going to be more than worth it for that match, let alone anything else on the show.
Please buy this show and please watch it live.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy it. It should be great. And the thing about it is, there's loads of cool stuff in the undercard as well. It's a really good looking show. It's one of the strongest looking Shine shows that I've seen in quite some time, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I've been gushing about the main event here, but it's not like it's just a one-match show. It's not like the main event of the last one, for instance, which had probably your top 10 women all in one match, which kind of it makes the undercard a little bit difficult to kind of keep up with it.
Yeah, the undercard in the last show was a little bit weird. It was a little bit sort of everything was stacked at the top of the show, and the rest of the card was kind of weird. But everything on this one just looks like it's coming together really, really well. Got a last woman standing match with Jessica Havoc and Allysin Kay, and the feud that, I don't know if it's going to be settled on the last woman standing. I really don't, but it might be. It's got to be blown off at some point in the next few shows.
Do you want to make a prediction?
In this day and age, with last man standing and last woman standing matches, you're just about as likely to get a double knockout as anything else.
That's where I'm going.
So, I don't know. We'll see. It could go either way, honestly.
Just considering the amount of non-decisions there's been in the other matches.
Can I say this much as well? If it's a last woman standing match as well, that means the Valkyrie can interfere as much as they want.
That's very true.
So, in theory, Allysin Kay can just have all of her buddies come out, take out Havoc, and win the match that way. So there's the potential for that as an idea as well.
That's a possibility, yes.
We have a Shine Tag Team Championship match with the Lucha Sisters defending against the winners of a four-corner survival match.
Which is what brings in our guest here today.
Yes, because the Kimber Bombs are one of those four, and they will be taking on, amongst the four teams, the SNS Express, and it's going to be specifically Steffi and Jessie Bell. Also, Legendary, which is Malaya Hosaka and Brandy Wine, and possibly my second favourite tag team right at the minute, the Buddy System, Heidi Lovelace and Solo Darling.
This is like your sleeper match, isn't it?
Oh God, I'm so excited about the idea of interaction between the Buddy System and the Kimber Bombs. I mean, no offense to the SNS Express and Legendary, I love them all, but I just want to see the Buddy System versus the Kimber Bombs. Then I can die happy.
Well, fair enough. I mean, I'm hoping you don't die after it.
No, you're right.
We've got more podcasts to do.
That is true. We're never going to get to show 100 at this point.
No. By the way, we wanted to point out, yes, this is show 69, no jokes.
Yeah, it's entirely coincidental. Had to happen someday. Also on the show, Nevaeh versus the debuting Candice LeRae. We love Candice LeRae.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I love Nevaeh too, actually, to be fair. But Candice LeRae's really been a new sort of favourite flavour for us in the last year or so, when she's been working a bunch of shows where she's been a little bit more visible.
Yeah, I think that it's really helped out with her profile.
Yes.
So it might be that because of all that is what's brought her to this point here.
Yeah. So that's going to be cool. Almost certainly going to be really good. Got Shana versus La Rosa Negra. That's a rematch, actually, of a sleeper match from a couple of shines ago, when they had a match which, honestly, I wasn't really expecting an awful lot out of, but it ended up being the best match in that undercard. Really, really good match.
Shana recently also had a match which apparently was well received on quite a small show in the Midwest against Crazy Mary Dobson. So it seems that Shana's been busy making a name for herself in the US a little bit more.
I'd imagine Shana versus Crazy Mary Dobson could be quite fun.
Yes.
So we got Leia Von Dutch, and she is taking on Amber O'Neil.
Yeah, I guess that carries on with Von Dutch's dinosaur hunter gimmick, which she had.
Yes, I don't know what that means you're trying to imply about Amber O'Neil, though.
What I'm trying to say is that Amber O'Neil is a veteran of this business and nothing more.
Yes, and Su Yung is going to take on Justine Silver. And that's the new and improved Su Yung, no less.
Yeah.
Part of Valkyrie now.
Yes, the dark and brooding, sort of slightly kooky but slightly weird Su Yung.
Yes.
Is that the best way to describe it? I'm not sure.
It's a way to describe it. I don't know exactly where
it's difficult to define Su Yung at the moment.
Yeah, she's gone down a difficult path.
Yes, she has.
And I don't know if she quite knows that whether she wants to be there or not.
No, indeed.
But yeah, that's it. So Shine is looking like a hell of a show. Pick it up if you can. Watch it live if at all possible. If not, the VOD should be available, usually from within 24 hours of the show on WWNlive.com. I'm sure we'll plug it again once Cherry comes on the show, but we are definitely looking forward to that one.
Incidentally, there are some other all-women shows that are taking place over the weekend. IWA Mid-South's Queen of the Death Matches is taking place.
Oh, that's going to be weird.
Yeah, with names that you wouldn't normally associate with death matches in there, like your Heidi Lovelace or your Thunder Kitty.
Yes, yeah, that's going to be very interesting. I watched the first IWA Mid South Queen of the Death Matches tournament. I don't remember what year it was off the top of my head. I want to say something like 2006,
maybe.
I was going to say 6 or 7, perhaps, and. I'm not a fan of deathmatch wrestling, and it's not even a male versus female thing. I'm not a fan of it in general. But on the right day, if I'm in the right mood, I can find it enjoyable. And I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy the first one. but it's not a style of wrestling that I seek out. I might watch this though if I can get a chance to watch it though. I'm vaguely intrigued.
Well, there's some names that you're really going to recognise. We mentioned Heidi, we mentioned Thunder Kitty. Jules Malone has been drafted in following the Mickey Knuckles ankle surgery not healing as quickly as she'd hoped. So she's in there. Ludark Shaitan, who wrestles in Mexico and does a lot of deathmatch stuff there. Again, I've seen a match with her against Crazy Mary Dobson.
Indie Luchadora, yeah, she's a bit crazy. She does not mind bleeding.
Yeah. Then you've got people like Hudson Envy. She's very comfortable with the blood. If you've seen a few of the alternative wrestling show matches that she's had as well.
From the West Coast, yeah. If you haven't come across her, she wrestles mostly out there.
Yeah, and then you've got people like Mistress Burgundy, not too sure about any details with her. Kiki Rose, again, and then there's Randy West as well, who wrestles in the Midwest. So it's got some names that you'll know quite well. It's got some names that you'll maybe have heard of the name. Some people who you might not know at all in some very unique matches.
Yeah, like I say, it'll depend on the day. If that's something that ends up being available on VOD or something like that, and I happen to have a day where I'm just feeling in the mood for a death match, I might watch that show. But I am I'm interested to get the results at least.
Also, on Sunday, Anarchy Championship Wrestling's American Joshi Queen of Queens tournament.
Yes, that's been one of the sort of the main sort of landmark events every year for women's wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Not sure exactly how prominent it is these days, but it's still got a place.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, yeah. You want to run through the field there quickly?
Yeah, so you've got the American Joshi champion Sue Young, you've got Athena, Jessica James, Candice LeRae, who's going to be very busy over the weekend, Jenny Rose, Angelus Lane is in there, and then you've also got Angel Blue, and who is the last one? I can't remember off the top of my head now.
Leva Bates.
Leva Bates, that's the one.
There you go. And yes, those are the 8 entrants, and to the best of our knowledge, Angelus Lane is still wrestling. She has obviously got her wrist injury, where she's got her wrists all plastered up. As far as I'm aware, she is still planning to work.
Well, she was supposed to be working the Queen of the Death Matches show against Lufisto in non-tournament action, but that match was pulled, and instead it's going to be Lufisto versus Jordan Grace instead.
Yes. So there you go. So we've got all this stuff coming up. We'll talk briefly before we move on about something that's now past, and that is the era of Vickie Guerrero.
Yeah, a 9-year run. It's not bad, is it?
It's not bad at all, considering. I mean, I know there are people who say, well, the only reason she had a job was because WWE felt sorry for the family after what happened to Eddie, and there's obviously a certain truth to that. I mean, she was looked after by the promotion, but that's not a bad thing. That's WWE showing that they actually have a heart sometimes and making sure that that family is looked after.
But that's not like she was just kept there for 9 years just because they wanted to look after her. She actually became a very valuable performer as well.
She did. She took a little while to find her feet, but once she found her feet, she became a really fun character and a really good heat magnet.
Ultimate heat magnet. She got nuclear heat for a catchphrase.
Yeah, I mean, some of that's just like the automatic reaction of fans when they see her, just to do that rather than because they actually hate her. They know that's the thing that you do when you see Vickie Guerrero. But regardless of why, I mean, when she walks out on the stage to make an announcement or something, the place goes crazy. I mean, there have got to be wrestlers looking at that and going, I wish I could get a tenth of the heat that Vickie Guerrero gets.
And without actually having to do anything either.
Yeah.
Isn't that the dream?
It is. But yeah, no, she's done really well for herself, and she got to bow out on Raw this past week in a match which, well, I say a match first of all. It was a segment. Let's call it a segment, which was supposed to be her versus Stephanie in a wrestling match. And when she came out to the ring, Stephanie came out dressed in her dress rather than her wrestling clothes, and explained that it wasn't going to be a match in the wrestling ring. It was going to be a match in I don't know. They never explained what it was, other than the fact that they said it smelled. But I suppose we're going to say it's a mud pit.
I don't think they were implying that it was mud.
Oh, you think they were implying it was worse?
It might have been butt mud.
Butt mud. Fine. It was probably actually chocolate pudding or something. I don't know. But either way, whatever it was, when the camera panned around and there was this pool, I just thought, I thought I hoped we'd gone past this phase of women's wrestling. They used to do this reasonably regularly. They used to have like Thanksgiving gravy bowl matches and stuff with the wrestlers. And that was back in the days of Trish and those lot.
Yeah.
But we haven't had anything like that for quite a long time, and it turned out that it wasn't even a Stephanie versus Vickie match per se. It was more a case of a hit job from Stephanie when she sent out Layla, Rosa Mendez, and Alicia Fox to try and throw her in, and one by one, Vickie turned it around and threw them all in the mud.
Mud, yes.
And then Stephanie proceeded to cut the worst version of the Na 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 Goodbye song that there's ever been with an awkward dance before she realised that, oops, let's rewind for a second. She actually put Vickie into the mud. And then,
yes, she did.
And then sang the song. And it was after singing the song she realised that she'd accidentally put herself in a position between Vickie Guerrero and the mud pit.
And then she got the first real comeuppance that she's had.
In a long time, yeah. The thing about the McMahons has always been, and they said this about Vince for years, is that when it's time for the McMahons to take their medicine, so to speak, they take their medicine.
They really do.
And that's one thing you can say. For every time there's somebody gets offended by how somebody's badly treated by WWE, or they do something that they think is degrading or anything like that, when it's time for the McMahons to do that stuff, they seem to revel in it. I mean, whether it's Vince being introduced to the Big Show's butt, or whether it's Stephanie rolling around in this pool of shit.
Or the Kiss My Ass Club.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like they will happily take their medicine and just sell as much as they possibly can. And Vickie got to go out, albeit caked in mud. She got to go out with a little bit of dignity as to having got her comeuppance against Stephanie.
She looked like an extra from Two Girls, One Cup.
Oh, Jesus, you didn't go there.
I did.
Right, anyway. Thanks, Vickie. That's all I'm going to say on that one.
I've got to say, though, about the whole paddling pool and all that kind of stuff, I'm okay with it happening because, let's face it, you have two non-wrestlers out there.
True, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, let's say Paige v. Naomi this Sunday at Money in the Bank was in a pool full of brown, smelly goo, I'd be pretty upset about that. But this is two non-wrestlers doing an angle.
Yeah.
So
it was a segment more than anything else, and yeah, I mean, Stephanie got her comeuppance, and it does beg one question, and we don't know what's going to happen with Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella when they come back. Or do we call her Brie Bryan now?
I don't know. I mean, the twin gimmick's almost dead. So
yeah, but anyway, when and if Brie comes back, I assume when Brie comes back, she's going to want to get her comeuppance on Stephanie too. But Vickie's kind of already got it, so I don't know what Stephanie's going to have to do to show even more ass than what she's just showed this past week.
She's going to have to get beaten up.
Perhaps. We'll see. But it's an interesting thing, and Vickie wrote a letter about thanking a lot of people about her career and so on, and she was supposed to finish at WrestleMania, if you remember.
Yeah, but she held on.
She agreed to stick around for a little bit longer, and it turned out to be a few months longer to write her out properly, and at least she did get a send off.
I think that was a nice thing.
Yeah.
That she was able to have that situation and go out as a baby face with Eddie Guerrero's music playing. Although, damn it, there's probably people who are watching who maybe in that audience who'd never heard that music before.
That's true. I thought about that when she came out. And
it's been 9 years.
Yeah, JBL and Jerry Lawler were marking out for the Eddie Guerrero music. And I remember thinking, I love it, but I wonder how many people even remember Eddie now. I mean, I know they do a lot to keep him alive and put him on DVDs and all that sort of stuff, but man, we are old.
Yeah, it's been a long time, yeah.
Hey, before we go to the interview segment, I should say, we were talking, you talked briefly there about Paige and Naomi coming up this weekend.
Yes.
That is at the WWE Money in the Bank pay-per-view on the network, if you have the network, of course. And I said to you a couple of days ago when this match was officially announced that we could almost write the report now because I'm so certain as to what's going to happen. And you actually disagreed.
Well, it wasn't that I disagreed. I just thought there may be another angle out of this.
Yeah, you didn't think it was as cut and dried as I thought it was going to be.
No.
I figure, this is entire speculation here, but I figure what's going to happen is Naomi's going to have the match won. Cameron is going to get involved, and she is going to end up costing Naomi the match. And that's going to end up with a split of the Funkadactyls and a three-way at the next pay-per-view with Paige, Naomi, and Cameron. And Cameron this time is a full-fledged heel. And they may even go the question about, what side might Naomi be on.
Yeah, this is the thing. I thought that's the likely answer. Mm. But there's also, if they wanted to swerve everybody watching, you could possibly have that Naomi is in on this heel turn all along and both Funkadactyls turn and Naomi wins the title. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it could.
The one thing I like about that idea is obviously at least one of the Funkadactyls is going heel. That seems fairly straightforward. And I figure that if Naomi turns heel, they've got a top heel again, which they haven't had since AJ disappeared.
And it also gives a proper storyline for Paige as well.
Yeah, so they could do that.
She's then got the chase on.
Yeah, and it's 1-on-2 as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that might happen.
I'm not saying it will. I don't even think that it will, but it might.
And the one thing we've just discussed whilst talking about this and the sort of preamble here is the fact that holy shit, there's a lot happening this weekend.
There really is, yeah. We're going to have a busy weekend.
I've been looking forward to Shine, but you're right, yeah, we've got Shine, we've got Queen of the Death matches, we've got Queen of Queens, and we've got a WWE pay-per-view as well.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of updates on the website this weekend. Who's ready?
You've got your hand up, right?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, you love it, really. Okay, look, let's cut a halt to this now, because people want to hear Cherry Bomb talk rather than us.
Yeah, let's do it.
Very pleased to welcome one half of the most fantastic tag team in the world. I make no apologies for saying that. One half of the Kimber Bombs, it's Cherry Bomb. Cherry, welcome.
Hey, that was an awesome introduction. Love it.
There's going to be more gushing to come about the Kimber Bombs.
Believe me.
I love you ladies so much. But, first of all, we've got a Kimber Bombs match coming up at Shine this weekend, but it almost might not have happened because you've just come back from injury, and we want to talk about that first of all. You had an ankle injury a few weeks ago?
Yeah, I was in a match against Vanessa Craven, and it was really just like a freak kind of accident. I literally just turned, ran, and rolled my ankle, and I honestly couldn't get back up. It was awful.
Wow. Must have been quite bad, though, considering they actually stopped the match for it.
Yeah, I was convinced that I had broken it because I literally couldn't get up. I was in so much pain. But the referee that we had in the match, Jimmy Cordeas, was so amazing. I have to stop for a second and just put him over because he is definitely the best ref I've ever been in the ring with. And he made sure I was okay. And when he realized I wasn't, he was the one to be all right, she needs help. And people were there right away to come and get me. So
scary moment. When did you realize it wasn't quite as bad as you thought?
Well, I went straight to the hospital and got x-rays, and thankfully it wasn't broken. And I was on crutches for just over a week, and I pretty much just iced and rested for a week. And then I came back on last Friday for Excite Wrestling, and it was it was fine. It's still, I have to wrestle in a brace and I have to be careful, obviously, but for the most part it wasn't as bad as I thought it was at first.
Does that mean you're going maybe at a lower percentage than you'd like to? Something like 70, 80%, something like that?
I tell myself that. I say to myself, just, do your best, take it easy. But then as soon as I get out there, I can't help it. And I just end up going 100 miles per hour.
Yeah, people have to be super kicked.
Yeah, exactly. It has to happen. I have to BSE them.
Talking about the injury you had, that was a sort of physical injury, but you're just coming over a recent case of bronchitis as well.
Yeah, it sucked because I literally, like, you know, when you start to get sick, you start, like, you know, your nose gets stuffy, your throat, whatever. I literally woke up one morning and had bronchitis. So, you know, I had to go to the doctor and all that jazz. But, and then, you know, a week later, I've rolled my ankle. So I was out of the gym for 2 weeks and I was losing my mind.
Wow, how do you manage that? I imagine that's where you live most of the time.
Yeah, I was literally watching Netflix every day, all day. It was getting to the point where I started feeling like I was going stir crazy. And I told Pepper, I was like, listen, I have to go to the gym. I don't care if I can't do anything. I just have to go there.
Just to be in the ambiance of the gym, just so you can at least be there, yeah?
Yes, exactly.
Wow. You know, the whole fitness thing, I mean, that sort of brings me on to the fact that, you know, you and Pepper have been involved in CZW a lot in the last couple of years, and you've been together as a team in there, and the feud you guys had with Greg Excellent, the way you were describing the last few weeks, I got the impression that maybe you were going back to those sort of days where you had to adopt the lifestyle of Greg Excellent.
I know, right? It was, I mean, I tried my best to at least, like, eat healthy, but I mean, when you're just, like, sitting around and you have nothing to do, oh God, it was horrible. And I'm, like, pretty ADD too, so I was just, like, itching to do anything. It was brutal.
Yeah, I've just come off illness as well. I had 4 weeks sitting at home doing absolutely nothing, but I was nowhere near as ADD as you about it. I quite enjoyed it, to be honest with you.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, the first day, you're like, man, this is awesome. I got to watch Netflix and catch up on the Vampire Diaries. This is fantastic. And then, you know, 3 days into it, I'm like, you know, just to do simple things like get up and go and get myself something to eat was like a challenge. I don't know if you've ever walked on crutches before, but they're so, like, uncomfortable, and, like, you just, I don't know. I like to be very self-sufficient. I like to do things myself. So to have to, like, rely on Pepper to pretty much do everything was awful. I didn't like it at all. I mean, he was great, but I just was, like, losing it.
Just want to go off on a mild tangent for a second. Vampire Diaries. I just have to ask about this because a friend of mine at work is obsessed with the Vampire Diaries, so much so that she went to one of the conventions that was over here recently, and it's like, what is the obsession with this show?
I mean, it's kind of a guilty pleasure for me. I started watching the first season when it came out, and now I just feel like I've kind of invested so much time that I have to see it through. But I don't know, the last season, it wasn't I wasn't too impressed with it. I think it's gotten lost a little bit, and I know they switched writers, so I don't know, it's not the same, but I still watch it.
She's seriously tempted to go to the Vegas convention. I was like, please, no. If you're gonna go to Vegas, don't go for a Vampire Diaries convention.
I mean, I'd go to see Stefan and Damon Salvatore. I'd be down for that.
I'll pass on numbers when this show's over. You two can have a big conversation about the Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, that's one of my guilt. That and Revenge. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Revenge, but I'm pretty into that one too.
I know of Revenge, but I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Again,
it's kind of I don't know. It's kind of cheesy, but I like it.
I can't really talk. I've only just finished watching the first series. It's 24.
Oh, really? Did you like it?
I am that far back. I did really enjoy it. Yeah, I mean, it kind of dragged in places, but I'm looking forward to watching day 2 now.
Yeah, I
don't know when.
I watched the first 3 seasons, and then I kind of stopped watching it. But now I kind of want to watch the new one. I think it'll probably be pretty good. I love Jack Bauer, so.
Are we done with our TV?
Sorry,
exploits?
Sorry.
Fine.
I went off on a tangent. I apologise.
You did a little bit there.
No,
I
that's
told
okay.
you I was going off on a tangent.
Yeah, fine. It's fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Let's bring it slightly back to what we were talking about a second ago. And you mentioned, when we have mentioned the name Pepper a couple of times, and for those of you out there who are listening to this who don't know, we're talking about Pepper Parks, who is not only a professional wrestler, but more importantly, is your husband.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
Since last we talked to you on the podcast, you've become a married woman. How's married life treating you?
Oh, it's awesome. It's great. I mean,
you have to say that, of course, you know.
Yeah, but it's really not that different, I think, than, I mean, me and Pepper are like, I mean, we're best friends, you know, so I mean, it's not that much different, except now that I guess we're like officially stuck together for the rest of our lives, but I don't know. It's great.
Wow, you really sold that. Has it affected you as far as your wrestling career is concerned? I mean, you guys obviously are sort of acknowledged as being a married couple in CZW, and you guys do a lot of sort of mixed tags here and there. Has it made any difference to your wrestling career at all?
Well, I mean, I think that I'm a big believer that you should surround yourself with people that are going to support you and lift you up, and that's one thing that I'm very fortunate to have in Pepper is he supports me so much and he wants to see me successful and I want to see him be successful. So together, I mean, we just continue to elevate ourselves up to the next level and we kind of want to push each other. So it's been very like beneficial for me wrestling wise. And I think for him too. And then to be able to travel together and to kind of experience all these things together, it's just, I just feel very lucky to share that with him.
Has being an attractive and married woman on the wrestling scene, has it cut down the amount of creepy fans you get?
No.
Oh,
I love the brutal honesty of that one as well.
Yeah, not really, no.
All right, fine. Maybe they consider that more of a challenge then.
Possibly.
What's that like, having to deal with that? Because obviously, you can't tell them to naff off or anything like that, because you're still going to be diplomatic about the whole thing. But at the same time, it can't be the easiest thing in the world to deal with.
I mean, like, I'm a big believer also in like how you carry yourself and how you you kind of teach people how to treat you. And obviously you're going to run into like, I guess, people that are a little bit over the top or, I guess a little bit creepy, but I just don't really pay attention to it. You know what I mean? I just don't give them I don't give them the time of day. So they don't, you know what I mean? Like I just sort of like turn away from it. And then I don't really, I still get like weird stuff from people, but it's just kind of like, it is what it is. It just comes with being like out there and putting yourself out there. It just comes with the territory.
I'm about to go down a rabbit hole here that I maybe don't want to go down, but when you say you get weird stuff, what do you mean?
Well, I'm sure many other women wrestlers can sort of empathize with this, but you sort of get interesting messages.
Oh yeah.
And I sometimes get some very interesting tweets. And I mean, like, one was so random. It was, it's not even like perverted or anything. It was just kind of like, if you could choose between having a really good wrestling match and a really good nap, which one would it be? And I was like, that's a very good question. So you kind of get these weird messages and things like that. But I don't answer any of them. I just sort of laugh it off and continue on with my day.
The answer's nap, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, naps are glorious.
Right, let's get this back to actual wrestling, and let's get back to something we can be positive about, and that is, as we talk to you, it's Thursday, and tomorrow it's Friday, which means it's Shine time for their next show, and the Kimber Bombs are reuniting.
Yeah, absolutely. We're in a 4-way survival match.
Yes, you are. It's going to be you guys versus the S&S Express versus Legendary versus the Buddy System, and the winners of the match get a shot later in the night at the Lucha Sisters Shine Tag Team Championships. So you possibly have to wrestle twice.
There's no possibly. It's going to happen.
That's a fair point.
I love a confident woman.
You have to be, man. You have to be.
Let's talk about the Kimber Bombs, though. They were birthed at Shimmer, but I get the impression that when you guys first teamed up, the first time you teamed up at Volume 53 in April last year, it just seemed to be like a thrown together, let's just stick them in a tag team for this show thing. But it wasn't until later in October last year that you guys really started teaming up as a proper team. How did that all come about? Am I right in sort of saying that, this is kind of like a happy accident team?
Yeah, I think what's so great about me and Kim is, like, we really came together and it was very like organic. It wasn't planned out. We didn't sit down and say like, all right, this is what we're going to do in the next chapter of our career. We're going to be tag partners. It was like, I think because when we did the the Shimmer 53 and we were at WrestleCon, I mean, me and Kim obviously work for CZW, and we were there for both Shimmer and CZW. And it was kind of like, hey, there's these two girls, and they're both on CZW. Let's put them together. So, yeah, so we just kind of threw us together. But we clicked instantly. And I feel like we just we get in the ring together, and we know what the other person's going to do. And there isn't a lot of communication. It's just, we just do it. And and then we had the opportunity to tag again. And from there, it was just like, okay, we would be completely stupid to not, actually build from this and make ourselves an established team. Like, it would have been ridiculous if we hadn't. So, it really did. It came from some kind of whatever thrown together sort of one match, and then just progressed into now we're the Kimber Bombs, and we're teaming pretty much everywhere as much as we can and as many places as we can.
When I got to hang around a little bit with you guys last October, I thought it was amazing because, you guys had started teaming up together and showed great chemistry in the ring, but even after the matches, when I was around you guys, you were finishing each other's sentences.
Yeah, well, that's the other great thing, is that we're actually friends outside of being inside the ring together. So not only are we tag partners, but I consider her to be one of my best friends. So it really just, I don't know, it's perfect.
I'm just stunned that we've got so far into talking about the Kimber Bombs and Stu hasn't taken credit for your name yet.
Well, it was me. I did tweet out from the Ring Bells account the morning after you guys teamed for the first time that this team should now be called the Kimber Bombs. And I think by the second show on that taping, you got Kevin Harvey to introduce yourselves as the Kimber Bombs. So
yes,
if there's a slight part we can play in the birth of that great team, I'm happy to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an awesome name, and I mean, it works for us, right? So
absolutely. Well, what's the inspiration for the sort of the way you guys work as a team? Because you guys have quite a distinctive style when you're in there, sort of mucking around, and you said there's not a lot of talk, but there is a lot of sort of verbalization as you're talking to each other in the ring, and lots of sort of chicken shit heel tactics and stuff. What's that inspiration from? Is there anybody that you sort of thinking, okay, let's try and sort of take inspiration from this team in the past or anything like that?
Well, I mean, I watch a ton of wrestling, and I don't really just say, like, I don't look at something and go like, oh, I want to be more like this person. I want to be more like this person. You know what I mean? I just kind of watch a bunch of different things and then think to myself, like, man, that's kind of cool. Or, I kind of like that. And I watch a lot of, I was telling you before, like, I watch a lot of like Netflix, things like that. And I like to watch, I guess, strong females with a lot of attitude. And I think that I try to take on more of like that persona from just seeing different characters, or, you know what I mean? So there's not typically like a team that we try to emulate. But I think communication is a big thing. And I mean, me and Kim aren't afraid to talk to each other while we're out there. Make sure we're on the same page.
Well, it's not like wrestling's a silent film, is it? I mean, you can do some verbalization, get some talk going, and it almost makes the fans feel like they're listening into a private conversation.
Hey, yeah, and like I said, I think it's, we're out there, we're a team. It would be stupid for us to not to try to talk to each other and make sure that we're on the same page and we're, working towards the same, whatever it is. But if we're trying to do a double team or whatever, I want to make sure, hey, we're doing this together, or, I got this idea or that idea. And hey, if the fans like it, why not, right? I mean, I told you before we even did this podcast, I have a bit of foot and mouth syndrome, and sometimes I just kind of, I don't know, I've been known to shit talk a lot when I'm wrestling.
No, you?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I can't help it, man. I just speak my mind.
There's another thing I noticed on the last set of Shimmer tapings in your matches. It seemed to be something that was at least done a couple of times, but it just, again, it keeps amusing me. It sort of makes me think of like Wile E. Coyote or something, where everything's going so well for the Kimber Bombs, and then all of a sudden Kim will go, wait, I've got an idea. And this idea will involve some stupid, like, stacked up superplex or something stupid that ends up losing you guys the match every time.
Right. Well, like the funny thing about that is like Kim will, she'll be like, oh, I have this great idea. And then Cherry, I think you should do it. And then I'm just like, yeah, perfect. This, because I trust her. So if she's telling me, hey, I got this great idea and I know that you can pull it off, why wouldn't I trust her? Sometimes it works. And, once in a while, it falls back.
Burn a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it happens.
I was saying to Lee before we start recording the show that that bit so amuses me that I sort of think it should be the Kimber Bombs, like as sponsored by Acme. She's like, it reminds me of the Wile E. Coyote crazy inventions to try and catch the roadrunner. Never works.
Somebody else said that to me. They said that, and I didn't know if I should take that as a compliment or as an insult.
I certainly mean it as a compliment, put it like that. But here's the thing. It's that not only did you guys wrestle as the Kimber Bombs on the last set of Shimmer Tapings, but your last match at the last set of Shimmer Tapings was against Kana.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
66. How was that? Because I know you still brought your Kimber Bombs shit talking character into the ring for that match, but I would imagine that's significantly different from most of the matches that you wrestle.
Yeah, first of all, to be in the ring with her I felt very honored because she's such a fantastic wrestler, and it meant a lot to me to get the opportunity to go toe to toe with her. But I also, as much as I'm going to maybe bring something different to the table in a match like that, I definitely don't lose focus on who I am, regardless of who I'm in the ring with. And I think that that's very important. So it was definitely a challenge. It was definitely a little bit out of my comfort zone. But I felt like it came across well, and I felt like I held my own in there.
I'm trying to remember. I seem to remember there was some sort of comedy gimmick about her makeup running.
Yeah.
So she had blood coming down her face.
She looked like a zombie, man. Yeah. I was a little taken aback by that. I look across the ring at me, and there's zombie Kana ready to rip my head off.
Speaking of crazy shit from that last set of tapings, whose idea was it to start the match with Ray and Leon by offering them Hello Kitty cookies?
Oh, that was a bit of a collaboration. I was gonna bring Kim cookies because, well, I love her, and it was Hello Kitty, and we both love Hello Kitty, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get Kim some cookies, and then we kind of came together and thought, oh my god, it'd be so awesome if we went to give them our cookies and then snatched them away. How awful but amazing is that at the same time? So it was a bit of a collaboration there.
I love it. How long can you guys keep coming up with new funny shit?
How long? Oh man, it's never going to end. It's just going to keep going.
That's what I want to hear. And you can, of course, order tomorrow's Shine Eye pay-per-view, wwnlive.com. Even if you listen to this after the show's happened, you can still order the VOD as well. So if and when, let's say when, the Kimber Bombs win the Shine Tag Team Championships, you can still watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Get on that.
Get in. Speaking of tag teams, we've got a question to ask you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go on, Lee.
No, go ahead. You brought it up. What the hell?
Yeah. Speaking of tag teams, we had Taeler Hendrix on the podcast last year, towards the end of last year. Really good show, and she mentioned about how she had plans to form a tag team with you.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that?
Yeah, we were discussing it a little bit here and there, and we thought it would work because we look similar, and but we just we live so far away from each other, and it just didn't. We just couldn't get together, and we couldn't get on the same page, and And then honestly, like I said before, when I feel like when things happen organically and they just sort of blossom, that's what happened with me and Kim. And it was just like I'm a big believer in. It's going to sound a little bit corny, whatever. I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, and sometimes the universe sort of directs you into a different path or a different direction, and that really was how me and Kim got together. So and that felt so right, so I grabbed that and kind of ran with it.
Taeler was talking as well about how you and she are related in sort of a sort of distant way. I mean, how did you feel when you found that out?
Well, we always we call ourselves like doppelgangers. because and if you watch the Vampire Diaries, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. But we look alike. I feel like people. I mean, I've had multiple people message me on Twitter and even in person. They're like, "Hey, you know who you look like?" And it was the same thing for her. So we kind of joke around and say that we're doppelgangers.
And then it turned out that you actually shared DNA.
Yeah, down there somewhere in the family tree.
So did the tag team ever happen? Like, did you guys even have one match? Because I don't remember ever hearing about it. If you did,
no, we never did.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it just didn't happen. It didn't work out.
Is there a possibility that it could get brought back up again in the future, depending on what happens?
I mean, all my attention right now is really focused on Kimber and our team and working on that and building that and me and Kim have talked about how we want to not only capture the shine belts, but we want to go after Shimmer, we want to go after WSU, we want to take over everywhere, and that's really where my attention is focused.
That's going to be interesting if you guys go after the WSU tag team titles.
Oh, we're taking over. Well, she's everywhere.
She's already the tag team champions there with Antisocial.
Yeah, well, Antisocial needs to
That's gonna have to be like a weird 3-way.
No, whatever. I'm just gonna push her out of the way.
Oh God.
Yep.
That's an idea. What's going on with you in WSU of late? I haven't sort of seen you there too often.
Yeah, I will be back. I not July, but moving forward. I definitely haven't closed that chapter. I'm definitely going to be back there.
Cool, because I mean things have been. I think after the whole Greg Excellent thing that we talked about earlier, I think you and Pepper kind of are you guys sort of like on the down low at the minute with CZW. I assume you guys will be back there doing your thing pretty shortly as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a couple of other things that you did last year that we wanted to just highlight and bring up. A couple of other places that you worked. One of them was TNA, because I know you went in there as part of Gail Kim's Open Challenge into the latter half of the year. Tell us a bit about that. I mean, how did that all come about?
I mean, like most things in wrestling, it sort of just happened. I mean, I didn't really had planned for it or anything like that. I just randomly kind of got a call and it was like, can you be here in a week? So I didn't, it's not like I was told months in advance or anything like that. I really found out last minute. And again, when opportunities arise, like you have to be ready to go. And I was, and hopped on a plane and flew down to Florida and I got to wrestle Gail.
Was there any kind of things spoken to you after that about saying, if things go well, you never know what might happen in the future, or any of those kind of sort of half sort of like having the carrot on the end of the stick?
Yeah, I mean, like I got really good feedback, and I would like to think that eventually something's going to come of it. I felt like something would and something will. I definitely got that impression. So I mean, like that happening for me, you kind of have to be ready to go at any given moment, because it could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be a year, but you just don't know. So you kind of, I kind of keep that in the back of my mind to just be ready at any moment to go.
Though disappointingly, like you weren't involved in the Knockouts Knockdown show that was recorded a little bit recently as well.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a bummer, but I'm so happy for all the girls that got to take part in that. And it was very cool, to see Jessica Havoc, for instance, and Veda Scott. And, I was happy for all those girls because all of them deserve it. And they all work so darn hard. So, it sucks that I wasn't there, but I'm happy that girls that deserve to be there were there.
Do you still harbor, I mean, it sounds like you do. I mean, you still harbor sort of that hope of getting to TNA or WWE. Is that still something that you still think you can achieve?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. I mean, to backtrack a little bit, when I started wrestling, I didn't. I mean, obviously, yes, I wanted to wrestle for the WWE. I just didn't really understand, how to get there, or you know what I mean? Like it never really, I just really wanted to learn how to wrestle, and I wanted to be good at it. And it took me quite a few years to even feel like, hey, I should try to, I should try to get signed. I should try to, get hired by the biggest company in the world. And now I'm at a point where I feel like I definitely, like, that's the ultimate goal for me. And that's where my mind is kind of headed, and what I'm working towards. And I feel like it'll happen eventually. It's all about timing. And like I told you, like, just being ready to go at any given moment.
Do you look at that women's division that they've got in NXT and is starting to migrate up to the main roster and think, there's positive things going on here, and I'd really like to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see Charlotte and Natty, but that match was unbelievable. Like, I was, I don't know about anybody else, but I like had tears in my eyes because I was just like, oh my God, like this, it just to be able to see them perform on that level and be given that opportunity. I mean, I was blown away by it. And obviously that, my goal is to end up there. And I stay positive, and I hope that it does happen for me.
There's women's wrestling being treated in a positive way and being given some time with that match as well, which is kind of why it was so out of the ordinary.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it 17 or 18 minutes, something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you that these women have that capability. Like, they are talented athletes, and they deserve that time. And to see them get that was, I would really love to see that be carried over onto the main roster and see that happen on Raw. Like, what was it, 10 years ago that Lita and Trish headlined Raw? Was about 10 years?
Yeah, coming up to that, yeah.
I mean, like, think about it. Like, that match was awesome. And I would hope that WWE is going to get back to that. And I feel like NXT has kind of given people the opportunity to see that they can do that. So I would really like to see that carry over to Raw, SmackDown,
Honestly, if it's going to happen, I don't think it's going to happen this year. Just because it's kind of, you've got to wait for those people to kind of blossom and grow in NXT, then go up to the main roster, and then they've got to almost kind of blossom and grow there again. And I think it might not happen this year, but I think if you think about it in chess, like, the pieces are moving into place.
Right. And I mean, I would really love to see Paige and Emma like have a feud. Like, I mean, right now, obviously, Paige is a champion, and Emma's kind of doing her thing with. Is she still with Santino? Doing something with Santino?
No, not really, but she had been, yeah. Okay.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, like, those two girls are amazingly talented wrestlers. So I think the fact that they're up on the main roster, like, I would personally love to see them kind of feud and have that main event match that Trish and Lita had 10 years ago.
That'd be an interesting idea, yeah.
Will it happen? I don't know, but I personally would like to see it.
Sure. Another little brush with one of the big, I don't know if you can call it, I suppose you can call it one of the big companies, but another brush with one of the big companies you had last year was you got to work a couple of ROH TVs as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
I suppose we can call them national TV. So I'm not sure what the Sinclair Broadcasting Network coverage is in the US, but but that must have been cool as well. And you actually got a chance to wrestle Mischief 101 on that taping as well.
Yeah, I did. The first time I was there was a 4-way with Scarlett, Mischief, and Athena. And then I came in again in Toronto, which was very cool. That's where I'm from. That's my hometown. And I got to go one-on-one with Mischief, and I actually picked up the win in that match, which was, I was honored to be in the ring with her, but also to be in front of my hometown, and then to be in an ROH ring was just, it was just a very cool experience.
Well, if you ever get to WWE, don't get used to the idea of winning in your hometown. Just the way they go. But I mean, the thing with Ring of Honor is, I don't know, they seem to flirt with the idea of having a female division for a few shows and then they just disappear off the face of the earth for a little while. Do you know anything about any potential of anything coming back for the Women of Honor?
I mean, like, I've heard things here and there. Obviously, like any other women's wrestler, like, I would love to see them build up a solid Women of Honor division because they can do it. I mean, they have they have access to some very talented women, and I can't see why they wouldn't kind of run with that. And like you said, they've kind of teased it a little bit, and you know, when I went in for the 4-way, it was only a couple months that I went back for that singles match, so I was given the impression that it, you know, the division was building and growing, and then and now I don't know, it's just kind of maybe stalled a little bit. I'm not too sure, but obviously it would be great if they did, because then it's another place for us to wrestle. You know, it's another place for us to perform.
When you were last on the show a couple of years ago, we were talking about the fact that you were involved with the movie Beatdown.
Yes.
Looking back now, I mean, you haven't done any acting since then. I mean, is it something that you think you maybe could have looked into, or maybe should have looked into as another option?
Yeah, I don't know why I mean, that was such a cool experience being part of that film. It was the first time I'd ever been on a set. It was the first time I ever, you know, acted pretty much. And I had so much fun doing it. But right now I'm focusing a lot on wrestling and also fitness. I actually am training right now to be in a NPC bikini fitness competition that's happening in October. So right now I'm trying to keep myself focused on the, you know, two most important things, which is, you know, fitness competition and wrestling. And to introduce like acting into that, you know, mix is I don't want to like wear myself too thin, you know what I mean?
Well, I was just going to ask, how does the bikini fitness modeling competitions work? Because we've seen people like Madison Rain and Angelina Love and Rain do these things as well. But what kind of changes do you have to make to the way you work out?
Well, like, you know, one of the biggest things is like you need to have a lot of discipline, and you have to, like, I prep all my food, all my meals. I actually work with a company out of Rochester, and you know, they prep all my meals and have it delivered to my house once a week, and it's Project Lean Nation. So that is like one area that makes things a little bit easier. But I'm literally training 6 days a week, and it's physically demanding on the body, but honestly, from being in shape through wrestling, it's not that drastic of a change, but it's definitely, you just have to be very, very disciplined.
And get a mahogany suntan.
Yes, exactly.
I'm just getting over the idea of someone bringing me dinner every day.
Yeah, man. Honestly, let me tell you something. I don't know, for all of the listeners out there who have spent Sunday afternoon prepping their meals for the week, but it literally takes me 2 to 3 hours to cook up. Like, I'm a vegetarian, so I'm making tons of tofu, like veggies and sweet potatoes and all that stuff. To have someone come to my house once a week and drop off a box of food that's already made, it literally like changed my life.
That's the dream.
It really is.
Normally you don't get that until you're old and you get Meals on Wheels.
I know, right?
Wow. So October, you reckon, for this this contest?
Yes.
So are you going to be like on a strict and very irritable diet between now and October then?
Yes. Yeah, I'm going to be a very miserable cherry bomb to be around.
Oh, poor Pepper.
I know. I feel bad for him because, you know, I don't know. I mean, I tweet about this a lot. I have a love of cookies and cupcakes, so all those have to take a back seat.
I mean, no peanut butter until October?
Probably not.
Jesus.
Yeah, the claws are going to come out. But, you know, I mean, with anything, this is a huge goal, and it's a really big dream of mine to compete and be on that stage and work hard for it. So it's all going to be worth it. You know, I just set my mind to it, and that's it.
I think Pepper needs to get video of you when you finish that competition, and you can then just eat whatever you like. I think it would just be the most ridiculous, gorging video that any human's ever seen.
I'm going to look like the Tasmanian devil.
There's going to be a cloud of like oats and vegetables.
Yeah, lots of tofu.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just thinking she'll open up the peanut butter jar, and instead of like, you know, using a spoon or something, like just grabbing it, just handfuls and just...
Right?
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Me and my I have a dog. His name is Hulk Hogan. He's sitting beside me right now. He loves peanut butter as well, so I can just imagine like he'll have a spoon and I'll have a spoon, and we'll just be eating peanut butter together.
We heard all about Hulk Hogan last time you were on the show, and I do remember it was one of the WSU secret shows a while ago. I heard stories that Hogan was kind of like the most popular person at the interval.
Yeah,
I
Hogan.
say person. Sorry.
Oh yeah, he totally is. Hogan, I try to take him on the road with me as often as I can. And I have a little bit of a funny story about Hogan. I was wrestling for 2CW, and it was, I think, last year. And I had brought him to the show. And, the backstage area was kind of like downstairs, and there was a door that kept him in that area. And I went out for my match, and I was wrestling Veda Scott. And all of a sudden, Hogan comes running from the back and ran around the ring and tried to make a save for me.
Fantastic.
Yes, he made his debut at 2CW.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was people's reaction to that then? They're like, what the hell?
Yeah, pretty much. And then everybody, I came out afterwards, just to greet the fans and whatever. And everybody was asking me, where's Hulk Hogan? So I brought him out. And then I just figured, because I take him with me to CZW. So I just figured I might as well bring him to WSU and have him meet everybody. And everybody loves him.
Impressive stuff. Hey, speaking of road stories, I'd said to you before the show to see if you could see if you had any funny stories or anything that you could share with us. And you said that you did have a road story that you were interested in sharing with us. The floor is yours if you want to go for that right now.
All right, yeah. So okay. So this is going back, I would say maybe 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years. But it was myself, Danya, Cat Power, and Jennifer Blake. And we were driving to Berwyn, actually, for Shimmer. And this was when I had done Sparkle for the first time. So anyways, we're driving, and, I'm sure people can relate to this. GPS decided to go on the fritz and, took us off the highway. So we're thinking, okay, this is a little bit strange, but maybe it's a faster route. Maybe it's a shortcut. And we're driving along, and it's late. It's probably 1 a.m, maybe 2 a.m. And we're looking around, and we're starting to see that the area that we're in almost looks like the zombie apocalypse. All of the buildings are boarded up, and there's, some kind of some interesting people hanging out on street corners, and maybe I hate to call them prostitutes, but there were probably a few ladies of the night hanging out, and we began to realize like we were probably in a very terrible part of town, and it ended up we were in Gary, Indiana.
Oh.
So as we're driving along, all of us are kind of getting freaked out, and we're hitting a bunch of red lights. And we kind of all looked at each other, and we're just like, you know what? We need to get the F out of here. And we just kind of booked it through every red light that we hit and managed to get ourselves back on the highway. But it was absolutely terrifying. And I mean, we all laugh about it now. But I mean, 4 girls in a car in Gary, Indiana, probably not the safest situation. So anyways, that happens. And it was kind of an inside joke with us for a while. So a couple years later, fast forward, me and Allison Kay are driving again to Berwyn. And actually, I think we were driving back. So it's roughly maybe 3 a.m. And on the way into Berwyn, I had told her the story of Gary, Indiana, and how we were all terrified and we thought we were going to die and whatever. So as we're driving back, she's like, I really got to stop for gas. We need to get gas. So I said, okay, no problem. Let's pull over here. So we get off the highway. We drive a little bit. We stop at a gas station. We get out. We're stretching our legs. And I had kind of joked to her, like, imagine we ended up in Gary, Indiana. She's like, haha, she laughs. Walk into the store. I'm like, probably looking for energy drinks or something. And she comes behind, pokes me on the shoulder, turns me around, points up, and there's a big sign, welcome to Gary, Indiana.
She did that on purpose. Come on, man.
Yeah. So that doesn't come close to Soraya's story, but
Stu, have we been to Gary, Indiana? Because we've road tripped.
We've road tripped, but we haven't passed through Gary, no. We have been.
We have been to Indiana, yeah.
You know, and it's funny because you know, as a wrestler, you know, we're constantly traveling, right? We're always going to these like small towns or driving through towns or, you know, ending up on these weird areas. Quick story for you. I was wrestling for 2CW in Binghamton, and I was actually with Pepper. And, you know, we're driving, I think we were driving to a Denny's, something like that after the show. So it's probably pretty late, you know, maybe 11:30, close to midnight. And we're driving and the GPS is taking us down these kind of random streets. And all of a sudden a cop pulls up behind us and he starts, you know, flashing his lights at us. So we're thinking, okay, maybe we have a light out or a tail, whatever. So he pulls over and he asks Pepper to get out of the car. So obviously, I mean, I'm freaked out at this point. I'm thinking, okay, you know, what's going on here? And the cop is asking him all these questions, you know, who is he? What's he doing here? Who am I? Tells Pepper to wait, comes around to me, gets me to roll my window down, starts 20 questioning me, asking me for my ID, all this stuff. So he says, okay, well, you know, how do you know this guy? What are you doing here? I said, well, you know, like he's my fiance at the time. I said, that's my fiance, and we're just finishing up a wrestling show. So he comes around to Pepper and he looks at him. He's like, all right, well, just so you know, you're in Latino Kings territory. So I suggest you get in your car and you get out of here.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So we booked it out of there, obviously, and went to a safer Denny's location. And I think I ended up that night, I ended up pushing the couch in front of our hotel door because there wasn't a chain lock on it. And I was terrified that, you know, someone was going to bust out my door in the middle of the night.
Wow.
Yeah. Don't you just love wrestling? Isn't it great?
Yeah, well, you know, it's just interesting. You've got these stories where, you know, you're going through these places and you're scared. I mean, but you're a wrestler. You should be able to kick these people's asses if they try something.
I mean, I'm still a tiny woman. Come on.
All right, I guess there is that.
Yeah.
But Gary, Indiana, that's where Michael Jackson's from, right?
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, that's right.
Basically, what you're saying is the place went to shit after he moved out.
I guess so. I mean, it was like a ghost town. And it's so funny because, you know, prior to coming on the podcast, I was talking to Danya, who's still one of my best friends. I was talking to her this morning and I said, you know, I think I'm going to tell our story of Gary, Indiana. And, you know, to this day, she just dies laughing. And she says to me, like, you know, that was like zombie apocalypse. Like that, there was nobody in that town except, you know, really creepy people.
There's going to be a few terrifying places that, as a wrestler, you kind of go to and you just say, this looks really, really shady.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, for sure. Like I said, like sometimes you're driving to places like towns that I've never even heard of in the middle of nowhere. And sometimes you end up in Gary, Indiana.
I kind of want to go to Gary, Indiana just once now.
Yeah, do it. Take a picture in front of the sign. I should have. I don't know why I didn't. Actually, you know.
It'd be like the Vegas sign.
Well, you know, it's so funny that now anytime, like, Allison drives by and she'll send me pictures of Gary, Indiana as she's driving.
Man.
It's like, dude, it's desolate.
Yeah, I guess so.
Why is everything on fire?
I was going to say, and she's from Detroit. She'd know desolate.
Oh, God, she would.
I think I may have just dissed the entire of Detroit there, so I might be in trouble. But yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, 68 riots were quite bad.
Yes. I haven't spent too much. I've gone to Detroit. I've wrestled in Detroit once. I've gone. Obviously, I've been to Allison's. I've gone to Detroit, but I haven't really spent much time there. She likes it.
True.
She carries a machete.
This is true. Yeah, that's a good point.
She's not doing that for her health.
I don't remember ever having to carry a machete in Toronto.
That's because it's a fine city.
It is, isn't it? I love that city. It's the best.
Wow, look at all this dissing of America and loving of Canada. Yet,
I'm okay with that.
I was going to say, but hang on a second, just to bring it back to wrestling again. Sorry about that, but I noticed that for the next SMASH CanUSA Classic, you've defected.
Hey, listen, okay.
By marriage,
yeah,
of course.
yeah.
But,
Get yourself out of this one.
Yeah, okay, it's fine. Listen, I want to be on the winning team, all right, regardless of what country it is. And I feel that the U.S. team, especially, you know, having Kim in my corner, is where I should be. It doesn't mean I don't love Canada. I still love Canada, okay? I love my country. I go quite often back to Canada, but I also like to win at wrestling. So I feel like the American team is where I need to be.
Wow. We're on the verge of getting a USA chant here, and I just know it. But no, that's coming up. So is it next month for the SMASH CanUSA Classic?
No, that's not actually until September.
September, I beg your pardon. And Team USA is going to be yourself, Kimber, and Veda Scott.
Yeah.
What a team.
I know, right?
What else have you got coming up in the next few months that people need to be aware of? Because people need to see the Kimber Bombs in action, or they just need to see the bombs. One of the two.
Yeah. Well, I'm July 5th. Obviously there's Shine tomorrow.
Is. Yeah.
Okay. And the following week, July 5th, I'm wrestling for the first time in Cincinnati for HWA. I'm then back in Toronto July 13th for Squared Circle, which is actually my home. That Squared Circle is actually where I was trained. So this is my home company in my hometown. So I'm pretty excited to go back there. July 19th is Valkyrie in Brooklyn, where I actually am going toe-to-toe with my wonderful and beautiful tag partner, Kimberly.
Kimber Bombs explode, that's what you're saying.
Pretty much, yeah, pretty much, yep. And I think he's trying to pull a fast one, putting us in the ring together, but it's okay. July 20th is Smash. I'll be taking on Xandra Bale. And then I'm super pumped. July 24th, I'm wrestling at the Gathering of the Juggalos.
Really?
My first time.
Is that your first time?
First time, yeah.
Oh, awesome. We should have you on again after the show just to find out how that went.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone seems to love those shows. That's the thing.
I'm super pumped. I think it's going to be awesome. I mean, I'm going down with, obviously, Pepper's coming with me, and one of my best friends from childhood is coming with me too, and he's a huge ICP fan, but he's also a huge wrestling fan, so I'm so excited to take him.
Cool. Where is that?
It's in Ohio.
Cool. Carry on.
Yeah, so that's
you're very prepared. I love this, by the way. It's fantastic.
Hey, like I told you, I like to come prepared. I wrote my list down. So that's what I've got in July. As I get more dates, I like to post them on Twitter, and I promise I will update my fan page. I'm the worst at updating my fan page. But I'll start listing off my dates for August, either Twitter or my fan page.
We will do links in the show notes to both of your Twitter and your fan page, but do you want to just mention them quickly so people know where to go to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. For booking inquiries, you can email me at cherry-bomb@hotmail.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's cherry with 3 R's, bomb. So it's at cherrybomb, 3 R's. You can follow me on Instagram. I like to post a lot of motivational quotes, fitness, recipes, my dog, the wacky world of wrestling, and that is Cherry Bizomb, BZOMB. That's on Instagram. And then you can follow me on Facebook. It's Cherry Bombs Wrestling fan page.
Has someone already got the proper Cherry Bomb spelling on both Twitter and Instagram?
Yeah, somebody stole my name.
Bastards.
I know. Totally unimpressed.
Wow. Well, I am impressed, though. I'm impressed with the fact that you had a big list of bookings coming up. That's fantastic. Let's just finish up then with, we kind of talked about it already, about what your sort of ultimate ambitions are, but short term and long term, where do you see yourself in another couple of years' time, or even in the next 6 months?
Well, I often get asked that question, and when I look back at last year, it was a big year for me. I had the opportunity, like you said, to wrestle for Ring of Honor, TNA, and then to be in a pretty high profile feud with Greg Excellent for CZW, and then the success of Kimber Bombs with Shimmer. I really, at the beginning of the year, it wasn't like I sat down and said, this is what I'm going to accomplish. It was more of, this year I want to be successful. I want to work towards my ultimate goal of, getting to the next level, or, basically making a living off of wrestling. So that's kind of the attitude that I have now. It's not so much, this is what I'm going to do and this is what I'm going to accomplish. It's more of I'm going to continue down this path, keep working hard, keep staying positive, and just try to get there, get to the end goal, whatever that ends up being. I don't know, but to just enjoy the ride and hopefully good things are just going to keep coming.
Of course they are. You're Cherry Bomb.
I hope so.
Well, they're going to start tomorrow when you win the Shine Tag Team titles, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. Exactly.
Don't lose that confidence, yeah.
Hey, listen. I don't know if anybody else knows this. I hope so. I hope you guys are following Kim and I on Twitter. But it's Kimberly's birthday tomorrow. So not only is she going to get, gigantic, enormous hugs from her best friend, but she's also going to win Tag Team Gold at Shine. I mean, that is the best birthday present ever. And I just hope that every single person that's there is going to wish her a happy birthday. Actually, they should be singing happy birthday as we make our entrance.
There's a challenge.
I think you'll find that the best birthday present ever is an Xbox One.
What?
Listen, I like.
I only said that just to antagonize Stu, who's a PlayStation fan.
Yeah, well, I like Super Nintendo, so you guys both.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. We need to stop this conversation now because it could go on for another 3 or 4 hours.
I think so. Yeah.
We're all cool with the Super Nintendo. Don't you worry. It's a nice way to wrap it all together. No disagreements here. Super Nintendo rules.
It is pretty good, isn't it?
Good. All right then. Well, we will see you tomorrow night on iPay-per-view, and we will hopefully see you in many other places in the coming months. Keep us up to date with what you're up to, and we will help spread the word for you. And everybody listening to this, I don't know when we'll be back, but we'll be back soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for having me. And I just want to say real quick, thank you for promoting women's wrestling, being such a strong advocate for us, giving us a platform, giving us something to utilize to get our names out there. And each and every one of us appreciates it. And I just want to thank you for that.